Hi there, and welcome to St. Thomas Aquinas for everyone, and my name is Dave Palmer. We've gotten to a very, very interesting part of the Summa because we are going to start talking about the angels and how St. Thomas Aquinas describes the angels and defines them, and it's actually a pretty long part of the Summa, so we're going to take 5 or 6 videos to go through the whole thing, and they're going to be kind of short. I don't want to talk about too much of it in any one because some of it can get a little bit deep, as you have noticed from some of these videos. But anyways, so the angels, and what does Thomas have to say about them? And just as kind of a review, when we think of angels, what comes to mind? You might immediately think of Saint Michael the Archangel defeating Satan in the battle in heaven as depicted in the book of Revelation, right? You might also think about just the feathery little winged creatures like we always see depicted as far as the angels in art. The truth is we have to depict them some way because they don't have bodies, and so how are you possibly going to draw a picture of something that you can't see? And so that's our limitation, is that we have to give the angels qualities that they really don't have as part of their nature, right? Here's another common thought about angels, is that they play instruments, the bugles or the trumpets in heaven, and so they're often seen with these musical kind of wind instruments, right? But they don't have can't produce wind because they don't have bodies. But that again, that's how we describe them. And then there's also stories in Scripture, like this one of Daniel being saved by the angel from the lions in the den, as is told in the book of Daniel, right? So these are some of the ways that we picture angels, but it's not really all that accurate, because Thomas starts off, and again, we're in the first article here of question number 50 of Prima Pars, and he says whether the angel is altogether incorporeal, which just means no body, no matter, right? Nothing physical. Is he purely spirit? And Thomas's answer here is really interesting, because he doesn't just say, oh yeah, they don't have bodies, they're pure spirit. But listen to what he says here. He says there must be some incorporeal creatures, okay? It's a necessity. There had to be. For what is principally intended by God in creatures is good, and this consists in assimilation to God himself. Okay, so the creatures, again, as we have talked about, tell us something about God and assimilate and somehow are a part of God. And of course, they're all, the end of everything is God itself, right? And the perfect assimilation of an effect to a cause is accomplished when the effect imitates the cause according to that whereby the cause produces the effect. Let me take a little break here for a second and just remind you of this picture that I showed a few videos ago, talking about going to the zoo and how we go there because these animals tell us something about God. Remember that? There's something about the lion, there's something about the gorilla, there's something about the panda and the giraffe and whatever that other creature is that tells us something about God. But Thomas is saying that the angels tell us a lot about God because they are most similar to him, right? As heat makes heat, okay? Heat is, it makes itself, and so they're so similar to God, but of course they're not God. Now, God produces the creature by his intellect and will, hence the perfection of the universe requires that there should be intellectual creatures. Now, intelligence cannot be the action of a body, nor of any corporeal faculty, for every body is limited to the here and now. Okay, they have dimensive quality. They're in the physical quality. Hence, the perfection of the universe requires the existence of an incorporeal creature. Isn't that interesting? It seems to kind of contradict the necessity and possibility proof of the existence of God, which means that all things are only possible, not necessary. I don't think Thomas literally means there has to be angels, but I think what he's saying is that if he's going to create creatures, then it's necessary for the order of the universe that there be some incorporeal creatures, right? Okay, so do angels assume bodies? Now we're in the second article of question 51 of the Summa. And, it's interesting, as I talked about, the way that we talk about angels. Have you ever seen somebody who, lost a loved one or lost a child, God forbid, and they'll say, well, I have an angel in heaven. Of course, that's not true, because angels are a whole different species and will never become angels, just like a cricket will never become a dog, right? And so we are kind of what we are. And so we are human beings by nature, and so we'll never be angels. And so it's not actually accurate to say you have an angel in heaven, other than a guardian angel or an actual angel, right? Like St. Michael the Archangel. And again, in Scripture, we are to believe that the angels that some of these people saw had bodies. Okay, probably not wings, but they had bodies. And then there have been some really interesting, I just thought I'd put this up there, interesting stories of cloud formations that come in the shape of angels. I assume this is true. It looks too good to be true. It's just like, really looks like an angel, but it does look like a real picture. It might be photoshopped, but anyways, I thought that was kind of interesting. But more often than not, the angels that people experience down here below look like people. Okay, have you ever heard those stories of somebody, their car breaks down and somebody shows up and they never get a name, the person helps them, and then they disappear and they never knew who they were. They typically are very attractive people, and so sometimes people experience angels and they just have bodies and they just look like people, but they're not. I mean, they are people. Angels are persons, but they look like human beings, I should say, like this. This could be an angel. Of course, it's just a picture of a lady helping a kid, right? So here's what Thomas is going to say. Divine Scripture from time to time introduces angels so apparent as to be seen commonly by all, just as the angels who appeared to Abraham were seen by him and by his whole family, by Lot and by the citizens of Sodom. In like manner, the angel who appeared to Tobias, okay, this is in the book of Tobit, was seen by all present. From all this, it is clearly shown that such apparitions were beheld by bodily vision, whereby the object seen exists outside the person beholding it, and can accordingly be seen by all. Now, by such a vision, only a body can be beheld. Consequently, since the angels are not bodies, nor have they bodies naturally united with them, it follows that they sometimes assume bodies. Isn't that interesting? It's possible that you and I have seen angels. We may not realize it, but they do assume bodies, but it's not natural for them to have bodies, like it is natural for us to have bodies. And when we get into the treatise on human nature, you'll find out about our body-soul relationship. And by the way, angels don't have souls. Did you know that? Okay, a soul is always associated with a body. But more on that at another time. All right, that does it. This is part 1 of the angels. There's going to be 5 or 6 of these. I'm going to start churning them out pretty quickly. Okay, they're going to be relatively brief, and so I hope you enjoyed that. Comment. Let's start some conversation. And let me know what you think. And what was this interesting to you? We'll have part 2 of the angels according to St. Thomas Aquinas in our next video. God bless you. Thanks for watching.